Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Note Closer Show. As always, Scott Carson, jacked up to be here today. We've got a very special guest on here, somebody that I met through online marketing. And you guys know, besides talking about note investing and real estate, I like talking about marketing. Well, I think I'm pretty good at it. Actually, I'll just say I'm the best in the industry at what I do. But what's great is when you find somebody who has embraced it as well in a different niche of real estate and it's just kicking ass and taking names. Now, who am I talking about? I'm talking about your friendly bearded realtor, Joshua Bohannon. Now, he's from Blue Indy Realty, and this guy knows how to market. Now, he's in the niche of land, selling land in Texas. Now, Texas is definitely one of the hottest states out there. Yes, we have property tax a little bit higher, but obviously land in Texas is highly sought after. And I'll just be shut up about it. But we're honored to have Joshua join us today here on the Netflix Show. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. I'm surprised you're not running around in like 5 and 10 acre parcels and taking videos and risking limb from any
Yeah.
rattlesnake or other wild cow running around out there, huh?
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. That was yesterday and tomorrow. Had to take a break for you guys.
Well, appreciate. Well, tell you how'd you get into this niche? Kind of tell us your or origin story as a land geek superhero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, I've been in sales my whole life, but I was ready for a change. I was in contracting. I contacted a friend of mine who has this business along with other ones, and I said, "Man, I'm looking for something different." And he said, "Let's do this." He goes, "You want to start selling some land?" So I went out, tried it, did a ride along, and man, I was like, "This is awesome." Got my real estate license, and we specialize in pretty much only land, 98% only land, and just taking off. Loved it. Love going out to the different properties. I grew up in deep, tiny woods of East Texas,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's nice to be out there again on properties because I live over near the Houston area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's and how long you been doing this for, Joshua?
It's been about a year and a half
So,
now, getting close.
so I love that. Some people are like, oh, he's only been doing it for a year and a half. But here's the thing: I think that you stand out better because you really do improvise and embrace using video to talk about your deals and your TikTok account, and then leverage it in other places. Can you kind of go into the idea, what made you come up with that, or what you saw working and decide, hey, I'm gonna do that myself?
Yeah, there wasn't when I got into it, our marketing team had talked about doing some. They were like, "Hey, do you have social media? Have you jumped into that?" And I was like, I don't really do it too much, but I know there's lots of them out there. So they're like, it would help you a lot. Go try to do it. So it's funny, my first one, my brother came out and helped me, and he had some ideas, and we got excited actually and took it off. I have a background in theater arts too, so that didn't help. That helps.
You're scratching your proverbial one act play itch then there a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And just when I started putting it out there, I started getting a lot of feedback. A lot of people who were hungry for this kind of content. They hadn't seen it before. And honestly, it is kind of tough sometimes because I go to look for somebody and you don't see very many people. There's a ton of realtors out there,
Yeah.
but they're not land specialists. There's not very many people doing land. And so it's kind of we're blazing a trail, but it's been fun. I'm loving it. And I see a ton of feedback.
Well, I've got some friends that are in the land space, but they're remote. Like they will carpet bomb, landowners on lots and things like that across the
Mhm.
country, and they'll flip it and they might use the satellite image of a property, but you can't really tell truly what a property is. Now, you guys at Blue Indy Realty, are you going out? You're going out and buying these large, like 100 acres or 50 acres parcels, and then subdivide them up into 5 and 10 acre tracts, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, the lowest we've gotten is like 36. Usually it's 200, 100, 400.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you guys, and you may not know this, so forgive me if I say something you don't know. It's okay. Just say, I
No
don't know
problem.
exactly that niche. But you buying it now, are you guys buying those with cash? Or are you buying those on terms from the sellers? Do you know?
I'm not 100% on that. I'm
Okay.
sure they are doing some cash. I'm sure they're mixing it with some investors, stuff like that. Yeah.
So what I like though too is that one of the great things I think why you get probably some feedback, and for correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the fact that hey, you guys you bring in 15, 25 grand down, we'll finance the rest for you, and stuff like that. So I'd love to get hear some of the feedback that you get from your videos that you hear the most often. I mean, I know I've commented. I said, "Oh, I love that," or I've even gone out and looked at some stuff. I'm like in the process of
Yeah.
looking. So you're the guy I look to first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. We've had that's one of the biggest things that sets us apart as well, is that we do offer owner financing on, actually at the moment, on all of our properties.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be as low as 5,000 down, or you can go like to 10% down. So that's huge in this market, because if you ever go into a bank, land loans are not easy, and most
No.
of them don't do them. Yeah, and they're going to usually want 20 to 30% down. They're going to usually require pretty high credit. And even with high credit, you're looking at 8% to 17, I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a big deal. This is a really great way to help folks get onto a property.
Yeah, definitely. As you guys are doing, what is it? If cash down, what's the usual terms? Is it 20 year, 30 year? I can't remember what you said it was.
Yeah, that's okay. So you can choose 10, 15, or 20 years. If you choose 10 or 15 years, it's 10% interest. And if you choose 20 years, it's 11% interest. But there's no prepayment penalties, no PMI, and no balloon payments. We'll even do. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You'll even do what?
I was going to say, if you do 20% down, we'll do 5-year terms at 8% interest.
Wow, very nice. Very nice there. Well, that gives people the ability, if they can get in, afford it, to, put some work in these properties. And we all know that land values are going up across Texas, kind of crazy. You talk about that, I call it the golden triangle, from Houston to Austin down to San Antonio and back. That's really the most expensive real estate in Texas, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just continuing to trend up and up and up. I mean, we have people who bought in that golden triangle 3 or 4 years ago, bought a smaller tract, but 80 grand. They called us and they sold in December for 160.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's not everything. That's not all of them, right? But I mean, it's definitely going up for sure.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, how often are you doing a video? Is it daily? Are you going out and filming for an hour on a property, 10 minutes? What's kind of your process to doing it? Are you out walking every property? You're just kind of taking still shots, B photos? What's kind of your process for it?
Absolutely. So usually about once a week, once every 2 weeks. Sometimes I'll batch everything within a week, but usually I'll go out to a couple properties and I'll spend an hour, a couple hours at the properties. I have my phone, I've got tripods, I got a drone, and I'm out there checking out, walking the property so that I can show people what they're seeing, and be able to tell them what's going on here. Is there a creek here? Is there a pond? Is it hilly? All the different things. So yeah, I would say I go out at least once a week or so.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned where you're at, and you've got stuff all across kind of central to South Texas. I'd love to know what kind of mileage you've put on your car in the last year.
I mean, yeah, just weekly. I mean, it's definitely up there. I mean, just Monday alone, I went to a couple properties, and that day alone, I think I put 350 miles on my truck. So yeah, I mean, I can easily do 1,000 in a week.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you keeping track of all the contacts or the requests you get? I'd be willing to bet, besides just the followers, I bet you've built a pretty good database of potential line buyers too, huh?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a file, and there's a lot of times that, because I am different than a regular realtor, I only sell for this one seller.
Yep.
So I may have not something that they're looking for at the moment. So I take those notes, I put them in my system, and I've had it where we've released a new property and I've reached back out to them and had multiple. They're like, "Yeah, it's ready." So that's a great thing that we have as well.
Exactly. Now, you're known as the friendly bearded realtor. What made you grow the beard as long as it is, and what gave you that idea?
Yeah, the friendly bearded Texas land expert. That's right. Yeah. I've been growing a beard for almost 8.5 years now, just because I could, and I trim it. But yeah, I love it. I don't know, man. My wife has never even seen me without it. So yeah. And my kids barely recognize. I asked them the other day, "You want me to shave?" And they're like, "No."
So it's funny you say that. My dad was bearded for years, and then there's one Christmas when I was young, he went up and surprised my mom and shaved the beard off and came downstairs and started kissing my mom. And there's a photo of me like running over and beating. I'm like, "You're not my daddy. You're not my daddy."
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, my oldest is 16.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've had it for over half of her life.
Mm-hmm. Now, on your videos, what would you say the average length is? About a minute, minute and a half long on those? You keep them kind of short? Yeah.
Unless I'm doing a YouTube
No.
where I can do a little longer. Right. I see the sweet spot seems to be about 45 seconds to about a minute, minute 15.
And how much time does it take you to kind of? I know you put a little bit different production into it, but as far as producing a minute video, how long does it usually take you on average?
From going out to shooting the content and then edit it and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, basically start to. And I'm not talking drive time, but
Right. Yeah. That doesn't count. I would say probably, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes.
yeah, 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 because you're incorporating, aerials and other things like that too along with it, which,
Right.
which
Doing
is really nice.
captions, making sure everything's right. Correct. Yeah. Color
That-
correction on the drone footage.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I mean, that's the great thing about it is there is really nobody else doing that, and that's why you've got such a unique aspect of what you're doing. We've seen some people do like some of the bigger high end ranches with drone footage and some of the stuff like that from
Correct. Yeah.
a while back. Or what's it cost for 5 million for this ranch and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you're really serving a niche out there now. Are most of your buyers buying to eventually convert it to homestead, or they're buying for commercial, or do they get the heck out of Dodge when the apocalypse comes? What are they kind of looking for?
Right. Well, believe it or not, I got a good mix. I would say the majority would probably be homestead, going out there to build a home. But I mean, I've got a repeat buyer who's done it for investment. He's like, man, my stocks aren't going great, so let me throw it into some real estate. And he did some property up near Waco, which that area is blowing.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, which was a great thing. So, and then you have some who want unrestricted property, so it could be maybe commercial things like that. I've got somebody who bought 10 acres over in the Texas area, over about 45 minutes from Houston. He's building a furniture warehouse. So it's kind of a mix.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our properties are unrestricted, so you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely, you don't want an HOA out there in a lot of cases, or make sure when you're buying, you're getting your mineral rights too in a lot of cases as well, right?
Not in this. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Those are pretty hard to get nowadays.
Yeah.
They've usually been sold off generations ago. So none of our properties come with mineral rights.
Okay.
And most of them are not gonna. I wouldn't say you would have to worry about those anyways, but they do not come with it. Yeah, so those are pretty hard to find. You can find them still, but it's pretty rough, pretty tough.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you guys basically targeting larger tracts and reaching out to the owners in a lot of cases for that, or can you give any insight and kind of the research on how you're
I
finding the
believe
larger
they
tracts?
have. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. They have a. I believe it's a special realtor who's looks for those big. These are usually like families that they're older couples who had this, who either their kids don't want it, or um they're ready to go retire somewhere else, or
Yeah.
they passed and there's no one to inherit it to. So that's usually what the case is.
That's very nice. I mean, Texas is a big place. I mean, you guys are selling in, I don't know, 30, 40 counties, I would imagine. So
Oh yeah.
all
Oh,
the
all
different listings.
over.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah. I
If
mean,
they're and that's one thing that too I have to commend you on is how fast you are at responding. I mean, that's the great thing. If somebody sends you a direct message, I love it too, because when I went out and looked at that property in Refurio and the property outside of Clarence City, you sent me over an aerial map outlining everything, and there was something else, and then of course the pin, so I could drive to it, make sure I got there and was looking at the right property.
right. Right. Yeah, that's important, right? No, for
Right.
sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're reaching out, it's very important me to get back to you as soon as I can.
Mm-hmm. And a
So I
lot of people
appreciate
don't.
that.
Yeah, and no, and a lot of people don't do that. I mean, a lot of times you've got bots out there. They got social media following. Because what do you have? You got on your TikTok. I was looking at. You've got what? How many followers now on there? It's kind of
I
crazy.
think it's like 7,800.
Yeah. Well, no, you got more than that. I think. I
Oh,
think.
really?
I think so. Let me look here. I just had it up a minute ago, and of course, then it resets here for you.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
but that's the thing is you've grown that to where it's at over how long a time? A year, year and a half.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
see.
I started back in May of 23.
Mm-hmm. So just over a year. I mean, I got a lot of comments here. And you've had some videos that have done really, really well. What's your largest video viewership has been by any chance? Let's see here.
I think well, on TikTok I have some that are over 100K.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. He's known as Friendly Bearded Texas Land Expert, or Texas. Sorry, it cuts it off. Texas Land.
Yeah,
Joshua.
Texas land expert.
There we go. So, oh, no, you do. Okay, sorry. It's 7,700 followers, 64,000 likes. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
and you've got stuff like 44,000, 1,000, 3,000. And that's the great thing is you really have a niche where your videos are really starting to. People don't know that about TikTok is if you post regularly enough, TikTok will automatically categorize your videos, which means you end up going to the eyes and ears of people that really want to see that stuff versus just being generic and having that 200 viewers, 200 view kiss of death that a lot of people get. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you need to have original content. They do not like you to reuse.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got several videos basically for almost every piece of land you have out there, don't you? Like one, two, or
Oh, I've
three
got on every property I have right now, I've got at least probably 5+ videos. Yeah.
that are unique. You're not
Yes.
resharing. They're
No,
all
sir.
individual unique. And but they're small. I mean, we're not talking hour-long content on that stuff.
Right.
Um, uh, too bad there's not a way. You're gonna have to tell me it's off target because I don't want to share this on video. But you're gonna have to tell me how much. Well, maybe again, maybe how much do you think in land sales has occurred because of your TikTok or your videos? You ever keep track of that?
We were actually oh yeah, we definitely keep track of it. I keep track of all of it. Yeah. It's important to me. Numbers speak volumes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually TikTok is one of the leading marketing things for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing well. I don't know the exact number, but it's definitely more than a mil. It's
Wow.
definitely more than that. Yeah.
Wow.
So go ahead.
No, I just was saying that's great. More than 1 million in sales in a video on TikTok, which is impressive because I think there was an article by National Association of Realtors that came out and said that the average realtor only sold only 50% of realtors sold at one closing last year in the last 12 months.
It's wild. They said the average realtor makes 30,000 a year. I'm like, what is he doing? How is he surviving off of that? You know, like, is it a side hustle? I don't know. I don't know. It
That's
doesn't make sense to me.
it doesn't make sense because most people like and this is no offense. I like realtors stuff like that. We work with a lot of realtors stuff like that, but most of them go to realtor school just to learn the rules. It doesn't teach you how to market. You know what I mean?
This is very true. Yeah, and honestly, the realtor school it taught me, a good amount of stuff, legalities, but it doesn't focus on land much. It's
Mm-mm.
very focused on houses.
Mm-hmm.
So, we kind of have to dig in and do some CE. I mean, I even went yesterday and did a CE class, continuing education with the Texas Veterans Land Board, because we've been blowing up with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's been very helpful.
Yeah, I would say so on that definitely. But that's the funny thing is we see realtors that do embrace the marketing side because it's a 21st century. I've got a good friend who has been a realtor for about 15 years, and he said I work off word of mouth, or I'm taking the Tom Ferry School of Marketing. He tells us to do one video a month, and I'm just sitting there shaking
Holy
my
smokes.
head.
Oh my gosh, it's wild. Like, how are you gonna get in front of? There's so much now. It's quick. It's so fast. The marketing now that if you're not out there daily, multiple times, you're gonna miss out. One time a month, that's gone. Who's
Mm-hmm.
seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I kind of understand until I got into this game. I was doing a little bit of social marketing when I was a contractor, but not like this. And I'm a big believer in this now. You even said it. The video, especially for the type of thing that we do, that takes off. And I bet you, if we looked into the data, the folks who are best at these type of marketing that I'm doing, and they're the realtors that are making the most. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones that are selling and closing the most.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. A picture tells 1,000 words, but a video tells the full story from front to finish versus just the exterior picture now for sale or open house or stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's what unfortunately with most realtors or I'm going to send out a flyer on the best recipes for Thanksgiving. and I just like, oh, I cringe whenever I see that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 21st century. Now, have you seen? And you probably keep up with it. Is there a lot of competition in the land space in Texas, or you see it's kind of being a wide open for you?
No, I think it is pretty wide open. Especially, yeah, I don't see as much. There are people out there. Obviously, it is Texas. We're
Yep.
one of the biggest states out there. But again, I don't see, especially even in the marketing side, I don't see as much competition.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, I welcome it,
Mm-hmm.
because people are going to get more eyeballs out there. They're going to see more things. But right now, I think I've got 3 or 4 that I've seen, maybe, that I personally have looked at that I kind of actually follow to see. You mentioned kind of one of them. How much do you think this? Yeah, and there's another guy but again,
It's
they're
not
selling big
competition.
ranches, right?
Exactly. Yes,
Right, and
exactly.
who there's not everyone can afford those. I mean, they're multi-million-dollar properties, and they're nice, and there is definitely a market for that. But most people out there are wanting anywhere from 1.5 to 20 acres,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they need. That's what they want. And so we're trying to hit that market. And I don't see a ton of them out there.
No, and that's the great thing too. That's what you know your niche. You've gotten your niche down, and that's really focused on because that's where a lot of people are looking at whether looking for more affordable homes or affordable housing,
Right.
putting on a mobile home on it, or double wide, or putting something on it so they can build their own custom house, or putting on buying something they can build a barn dominium on. You know what I mean?
A
At a
lot of
cheaper
folks
price.
do that. Yeah. We got a property that's already sold out, but it's up in the Brenham area,
Mm-hmm.
that Washington County. And that's what almost everyone did out there is put a really nice barn dominium. So it was really nice, really gorgeous
Now,
views.
right, right. Now, where do you see when you think about land costs here in Texas and stuff like that? I know it varies a little bit, especially compared to other areas of the country. Texas is obviously a little bit more expensive. Where do you see kind of an average that people should kind of think about budgeting wise if they're looking at buying land? How much per acre? And I know it varies. Like Washington County is a little bit different than out in the middle of Refuria County or something like that. But
Right. Right.
kind of a starting point, would you say?
I would say a starting point would probably be you should budget probably at least 100,000. I
For an
mean,
acre? For an acre?
well, for an acre, you're looking for probably about 74,
Okay.
75. I mean, I don't have an acre right now. The lowest I have is an acre and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just sold the last one, but it was 69,500. And that was
Mm-hmm.
about 40 minutes south of San Antonio.
Okay. Okay.
But if you look over in that Kennedy, that Karn City outside, that one's 3 acres for 75.
Okay.
So it really depends on what area. Obviously, I think everyone maybe they don't know this, but the more acreage you buy, the lower the cost is going to
Right.
be.
Right.
And also it depends on what comes with it, what amenities.
If wooded and creeks, or you were selling
Ponds.
ponds. You had another one that had was it Weimer that had the 3-bedroom 2-bath house on it too a while
Yes,
back.
man, that went fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime we have a house, which is rare, but anytime we have a house, I tell folks you better be ready because it's gonna go fast if you want
Mm-hmm.
to check it out. Yeah.
Now on the parcels that you're splitting up, are you guys going in and putting in gates and things for folks, or you also have the ability to add in like a well or septic to a lot of this stuff, or no? Those are
So a
obviously
lot of
additional
times,
charges.
right. So a lot of times we will fence it and gate it. Some of them we don't because it's maybe a little different, or there's trees that we don't want to cut down. We'll let
Right.
you make that decision. Most of them will bring power to the front of the property, and then it's easy for you to connect to. Some of them have water lines there. Some of them we have to upgrade. Um, a lot of them you're going to need a water well,
Mm-hmm.
and some of those properties we will offer it at additional cost. We can factor into but some of them we can't. And septics, we do no septics, and a big reason is those are very specific to the size of house you're going to put.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
and we don't know if you're ready to do that yet.
No, exactly. Well, that's just curious on that. What's it cost? I mean, obviously, it depends on how deep you got to go down for a well, but what's a well roughly run these days on
I mean,
average?
the ones that we've seen in our properties, they've been anywhere from about 15 to 25, 30,000.
Yeah, sounds about right for everything like that.
Yeah.
Man, what questions what are three big things that people should look for when they're thinking about buying land? What are some questions that you get all the time that maybe I haven't asked or gone through
Yeah.
that you get?
Well, we talked about unrestricted and deed restrictions. You should ask that because we have properties that have both, because not everybody wants unrestricted. Maybe it's not an HOA, but maybe you want some deed restrictions to take care of, keep it at a certain level, you know? That's one. I think you did ask about mineral rights. That's always a good one. You're not going to get them most times, but yeah. Power. How far is power? You know, the utilities. Do they have it, and how far, and are they willing to bring it there? Because that can cost you. I mean, it can cost you a lot. I had a guy who was looking for real cheap land. He out in West Texas. He got it for like 10 grand, but they cost him 100,000 to bring power. So I mean, the property really cost you 110.
Right. I've seen some of those listings out there too. Like you can buy 100 acres for a grand per acre, but you ain't getting no power. You better have solar. You better have a satellite phone.
Oh yeah, exactly. And there's no water too. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Yeah. So, but you're seeing that kind of happen even in that golden triangle you're talking about. There's folks that are in Wimberley and Bandera, stuff like that. They're not hitting water anymore. So, you know, another option you could do is a reclaim system for water.
Well, that's also scary if you can't dig and find water. That's makes it a little tough.
Yeah, and that's why we choose areas so far that you can get water.
Right.
You know, so. Right.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the biggest. Who'd ever thought that a gallon of water would cost you more than a gallon of gas these days? You know what I mean?
And it can. Oh, it's wild, isn't it? Yeah, everything is nuts right now.
Now, how do you? I mean, obviously, you guys carry financing, but are you seeing people come in and get traditional financing, like through a USDA loan or anything like that, from time to time too?
USDA. I talked about the Veterans Land Board. They'll loan up to 150,000. We've had people who go through the banks as well. I had a guy that got actually USAA gave him a great rate, and he was able to go through them. So it's going to really depend on. Well, credit unions. A lot of folks will go through a credit union as well. That's going to depend more on your relationship with them and your credit score.
Exactly, but the great thing is if somebody's interested and they can afford it, and they got some down, you guys will carry financing on it and do it for a period of time, which is great. And that's the thing. That's one of the funniest things is when we got to talking a little bit and you sent me your emails. I was like, oh, I've seen some of these notes for sale before.
Oh yeah.
Through some of the different channels. I was like, oh, okay. Now I'm more familiar because I've actually looked at some of these notes. It was a year or two on some bigger parcels. I was like, oh, okay. Now I know. Now we got to have them on the podcast.
Yeah, no, it is same parent company. It is a separate company, but yeah, they sell our notes.
Yeah.
And obviously we try to I always tell folks to put the most you can down. I mean, when it helps you, because a lot of these properties, there's multiple offers.
Yeah.
So you want to try to get it, but also it helps you lower your monthly and negotiate some, but it also helps sell the note. I mean, when you got a buyer who's put 100K down, you're a little less scared if they're going to do anything, you know, because that's the thing about land buying is it's risky. They are a little more risky than homes.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you'll see that. I mean, obviously, somebody's usually putting 10% down or more. The more you put down, it's better. You know, the more.
Absolutely.
Equity versus a lot of people buying single family homes and doing 0% down or the down payment assistance programs. There's no real initiative if times get hard for them to stick around because they have none of their own skin in the game.
Absolutely.
And that's why kind of land, I mean, it's great. Land's going up in appreciation pretty fast here in Texas. I mean, we're pretty lucky compared to some other places, and God's not making any more of it.
No, this is it. That's it. Everybody owns something, right? Yeah, I agree.
With people reaching out to you and stuff like that, what's the best way for folks to connect with you, Joshua? Is it jumping on TikTok, or is it shooting you an email direct? I mean, we'll put your link into your TikTok account in the description. We'll put your direct email, and if you don't mind, the phone number too for folks.
Phone number too, yeah. No, on all my social media accounts, I have either buttons or I have my numbers in there, my phone number or my email. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. Those are my cell phones, so I mean, I always have it with me, obviously, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. So that was what I would say would be the fastest way, either one of those.
And the great thing too I like about it is if you got see some videos, stuff like that. If you see it's available, reach out. I mean, there's even times that you've got stuff on the back burner that may not be on your channel yet that you're working through. Like he said, hey, we got this one in refer you that just came across our books, to go take a look at it, or we just released it today or just got it divided today for you to take a look at in a lot of cases, which is nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So you, how many days of the week are you out looking at properties? Once a week or once every 2 weeks? You said maybe,
No,
I think maybe you said it.
Well, I would say like last week I went out twice. This week I'm thinking probably gonna go out again. I've already been out once. So, I did just come back from Europe. I was over in the Mediterranean for a little vacation. Yeah, it was nice. So I wasn't anywhere, so I needed some more content. But I would say it's usually once or twice a week is when I go out there. And like I said, we sell out of these properties fast, and we're always getting new ones. So I'm gonna have to. We just got one in Lot, which is up near Waco, in Temple, and so got to go check that one out.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff there. So always good. Is there a website that people can go to say what listings you have available as well too, like a bigger map or no?
You can go to www.blueindyrealty.com. It's not always updated as fast. I would always say either reach out to me or look on my actual profile page because I post them all. And if something goes under contract, I post it on there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing. I have never seen a realtor be as fast as you are out there. You just need a couple 6-shooters, man, a 10-gallon hat with a long beard. You can be Josh with the land, the quick land draw McGraw. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, come on now. There we go.
Exactly.
I love it.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, we'll make sure and share all that stuff and keep liking it. I'll keep sharing your stuff as well for you. Once again, guys, go over to TikTok, check him out. What's the best handle again? It's Joshua Blue Indy Realty. That's on TikTok at Joshua Blue Indy Realty is his profile, and you can check out all the different videos, all him walking the properties, the aerial views. There's just some great stuff there. This guy, he really knows his stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And Josh, keep up the good work, buddy. All righty.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much, Scott. You take care. Thanks for having me on here.
No problem, bud. All right, guys, go take some action. Like I said, if you're looking for land in Texas, the Lone Star State, which is popular, check out Joshua. Check out his TikTok. Check out his website, stuff like that. If you like it, hey, they've got some opportunities for you to take advantage of to help you get financed if you can't get financed yourself. But go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you at the top.